Hello, welcome to the Ryan Fire Protection Powered Industrial Truck Operator Safety Training. The use of forklifts to transport materials is critical to successfully completing our work. This training will provide you with the necessary knowledge to safely operate forklifts in the workplace. Let's get started. In today's training, we will cover several topics, including OSHA requirements, the training program overview, company powered industrial truck operator safety requirements, basic safety principles, equipment inspections, safe equipment operation, safe travel practices, and safe load handling safety principles. Training, certification, and authorization to operate forklifts here at Ryan Fire Protection are a privilege and come with great responsibility. It is an expectation that forklift operators will operate the equipment in a safe manner at all times. Failure to follow forklift safety procedures or unsafe operation of forklifts is strictly not permitted. Operators involved in such behaviors or repeated accidents in the workplace are subject to revocation of forklift certification and/or disciplinary action. OSHA sets forth safety requirements for forklift operation under OSHA Standard 1910-178. Training requirements from this standard state that only trained and authorized operators shall be permitted to operate a powered industrial truck. It is the employer's responsibility to ensure that the operator is competent to operate the truck safely. Operators are required to complete all training components prior to operating any powered industrial truck. Training shall include this formal instruction, a knowledge exam, and hands-on operation instruction with operator skill evaluation. Operators shall complete an evaluation for each specific powered industrial truck class prior to operation. Solely completing this training today does not authorize you to operate all forklifts. Training certification is valid for 3 years from the date of training and shall be renewed prior to the expiration date. Operators will be subject to refresher training at any time when the below criteria is met. The below criteria is only a partial list and cannot represent all scenarios or identified reasons for refresher training. Refresher training may occur when a deficiency in operator knowledge or ability is noted, an operator is observed operating in an unsafe manner, an operator is involved in a collision or other accident, an operator has not operated the equipment an extensive amount of time where he or she may have forgotten safe operation. Refresher training may also be required when any other condition is identified by the operator's supervisor or the Ryan Fire Protection Safety Director. Why does forklift safety matter? OSHA estimates that there are almost 700,000 forklift accidents every year. 11% of all forklifts will be involved in some type of accident each year. 90% of all forklifts will be involved in some type of accident during their useful life. 42% of forklift fatalities are caused by the operator trying to jump from a tipping vehicle. The Industrial Truck Association has placed powered industrial trucks into 7 classes. The 2 classes of powered industrial trucks used here at Ryan Fire Protection are Class 4 internal combustion engine trucks with solid or cushioned tires, and Class 7 rough terrain forklifts. Class 4 powered industrial trucks differ from other classes as they are counterbalanced forklifts with front-facing forks and are equipped with solid or cushioned tires. Class 7 forklifts, or rough terrain forklifts, are different from other trucks because they are designed to be operated on rough terrain. For this reason, they are referred to as rough terrain forklifts. Examples of Class 7 powered industrial trucks include lulls or telehandlers, similar to the one pictured on your screen. OSHA requires that forklifts are inspected prior to each use. All forklifts are to be inspected daily at the beginning of each shift. Inspections must be documented on the company-provided inspection form. Inspections include 2 components, the pre-operational or visual inspection and the operational inspection. Operators should conduct a pre-start visual check with the key off and then perform an operational check with the engine running. Components of the visual inspection include visual leaks, cracks, or any other visible defect including hydraulic hoses and mast chains, tire condition and pressure including cuts or gouges in the tire, condition of the forks and the clip retaining pin, the load backrest extension, finger guards, safety decals and nameplates, operator manual is on the truck and legible, and all safety devices including the seatbelt. Operational inspection components are those that must have the key turned on in order to inspect. Those components include the brakes, steering, drive control and forward and reverse, tilt control of the mast forward and backward, hoist and lowering controls, the attachment control, the horn, lights or strobes, the backup alarm if equipped, and the hour meter. Equipment should be removed from service anytime one of the following occurs. Defects are found, must be immediately reported and corrected. Any vehicle that emits hazardous sparks or flames from the exhaust system, when the temperature of any truck is found to be in excess of its normal operating temperature, when there's a leak in the fuel or hydraulic systems, or any other unsafe condition is identified such as damaged or worn tires. It is imperative that operators are familiar with the location and information contained within their data plate. Information contained on forklift data plates includes the make and model, the serial number of the lift, and the maximum safe load. Operators should never exceed the maximum safe lifting capacity of their equipment. Safe means of access and egress are imperative to operator safety. Be sure that your hands are clean and dry when grabbing handholds. Grasp the handhold and get a good grip. Never grab the steering wheel. Always be careful with your footing when mounting and dismounting the vehicle. Pull or lower your body carefully into or out of the cab. Be sure to face the cab when entering and exiting the vehicle. Wear the appropriate footwear to prevent skids and slips or falls. Next, we will discuss safe travel and use. Operators should always conduct their pre-operation and operational checks before starting the engine and operating the lift. Operators should plan their path of travel. Ensure that your way is clear, sound your horn in warning, or use a spotter if your view becomes obstructed. Proceed cautiously down travel paths, watching for dangerous blind spots and pedestrians. Operators should slow down for wet and slippery conditions or when operating in rough terrain conditions. Always look in the direction of, and keep a clear view of, the path of travel. Slow down and sound the horn at cross aisles and other locations where vision may become obstructed. If the load being carried obstructs your forward view, travel in reverse with the load trailing. Safe braking and stopping is key to safe forklift operation. Apply the brake slowly and come to a complete stop. Use caution. Momentum may cause the load to shift or become unbalanced when sudden stops occur. Changing direction, steering, and turning. Potential hazards associated with this include collision with a pedestrian, another vehicle, or an object, and changing direction. When changing direction, the tip-over hazard occurs. Tip-over is caused by turning, falling loads following a collision or a sharp turn, and tip-over caused by turning too sharply. Operators should be aware of limited visibility and use extreme caution when driving in reverse. Consider the use of ground guides, rearview mirrors, spotters, and other aids to increase visibility. Operators should allow plenty of room for pedestrians and allow pedestrians the right of way. Never assume pedestrians or bystanders are aware of the presence of heavy equipment and the intended direction of travel. When turning, reduce the forklift speed to a safe level. Proceed with caution when making turns, especially when working in confined areas or narrow aisles. Anticipate the rear end swing and start the turn as close to the inside corner as possible. Never turn with the forks elevated, as this may induce a tip over. Never turn your forklift while on a grade. The forklift may tip over laterally on even a very small grade. If you must travel on inclines, drive loaded trucks forward going up a ramp with the load upgrade, and drive in reverse going down a ramp with the load upgrade, as shown in the pictures on your screen. Always drive unloaded trucks with the forks downgrade, as shown in the photo on the right. If you must travel in reverse due to a load obstructing your view, or to travel in a specified work area, make sure that you maintain a clear view and look in the direction of travel. Do not grab the overhead guard when traveling in reverse. This could expose the operator's fingers to serious injury or smashing. When working in warehouses or other facilities with dock doors, it is important that you practice dock door safety. Be especially careful on loading docks and stay away from the edge where possible. Do not operate a forklift near an open dock door that does not have a truck or trailer docked at it. Forklifts should never be parked or left on the dock and are only permitted to move across the dock in a continuous motion. Operators shall maintain a safe travel distance of 3 truck lengths from other trucks or equipment while operating in the same direction. Operators shall anticipate actions and movement of other equipment in the area and exercise extreme caution when operating in high traffic areas. Operators shall maintain a safe travel distance of 3 truck lengths from other trucks or equipment while operating in the same direction. Operators shall anticipate actions and movement of other equipment in the area and exercise extreme caution when operating in high traffic areas. Use spotters, rearview mirrors, and other aids to increase visibility. Where available, use concave mirrors when entering buildings or aisleways. Forklifts should have headlights if working at night, outdoors, or in any area where additional lighting would improve quality. Drive slowly into and out of warehouses or other buildings. Going from bright daylight into a darkened area may blind drivers just long enough to hit another worker, vehicle, or object. Keep a clear view. Look in the direction of travel, and when reversing, look behind you. Slow down and sound the horn at cross aisles and other locations where vision may be obstructed. At no time should you leave your powered industrial truck unattended. A powered industrial truck is considered to be unattended when the operator is 25 feet or more away from the vehicle, even if it remains in his view, or when the operator leaves the vehicle and it is no longer in his view. When a powered industrial truck is left unattended, load engaging means shall be fully lowered, controls should be neutralized, power shall be shut off, and the brakes shall be set. Wheels should be blocked and chalked if the truck is parked on an incline. Next, let's discuss safe parking practices. Always select a hard, level surface to park your vehicle. Fully engage the parking brake when a parking brake is equipped. Lower the load engaging means or lifting mechanism fully to the ground. Tilt the mast forward slightly and lower the forks to the floor until the fork tips touch the floor or ground. If the lifting mechanism is disabled and the forks cannot be lowered to the floor, attach a warning tag to the tip of the fork and position the forks away from pedestrians. Neutralize all controls. Set the direction lever in neutral and lock the mechanism if possible. Turn the key to the off position and stop the engine. Next, we will discuss safe load handling. Operators should always secure their loads so that they are safely arranged and stable. Do not carry damaged or loose materials unless they have been secured by wrapping or banding. Center the load as nearly as possible. Use caution when handling off-center loads that cannot be centered. Distribute the heaviest part of the load nearest the front wheels of the forklift, or up against the backrest of the forks. Do not overload your lift. Operators should know the stated capacity of their forklift, as well as the weight of their load, and should not exceed the stated capacity of the lift. Approaching a load. Operators should always approach the load slowly and carefully. Stop approximately 8 to 12 inches in front of the load to square your forks. Be certain that the truck is placed squarely in front of the load and that the forks are at the correct height. Set the direction control in neutral. To safely transport loads, the mast position should be adjusted. Use extra caution when handling loads that approach the truck's maximum rated capacity. Tilt the mast back and position the heaviest part of the load against the carriage. Travel with the mast tilted back to keep the load stable. Use extreme care when tilting loads. Do not tilt forward with the forks elevated except when picking up or depositing a load. Tilt the mast forward cautiously when positioning the load onto a stack or onto a placement level. Never travel with the load tilted forward. Tilting the load forward increases the load distance and makes the load less stable. Fork position. Level your forks before inserting them underneath your load. The forks must be placed completely under the load as far as possible, so that the load is against the backrest of the forks. Slide the forks into your load until they are fully under the load. Center the weight of the load between your forks. Tilt the mast back carefully to stabilize your load. Pick up an off-center load carefully. There's a greater danger of tip over when picking up off-center loads. When lifting your load, check that there is adequate overhead clearance before raising it. This is especially true when high tiering or in a confined space, such as a truck trailer or low clearance room. Carefully lift the load up above the lower stack about 4 inches. Lift the load clear and then tilt the mast back slightly to rest the load against the load backrest extension. Ensure that the load does not catch any obstructions. Slowly return the lift control lever to the neutral position. When lowering the load, the mast must be carefully tilted backward to stabilize the load. Ensure the load is secured before moving. Carefully tilt the mast backward to stabilize the load. Slowly move the truck to 8 to 12 inches away from the stack. Stop the truck. Return the mast to the vertical position before lowering the load. Lower the load so that its lowest point is 6 to 8 inches from the ground. Adjust this height depending on travel conditions. While traveling, keep the load at a safe travel height. It is important that operators are mindful of tip-over conditions. There are two basic types of tip-overs when dealing with a forklift. They are forward tip or longitudinal tip and lateral tip or side tip. In the event of a tip-over, do not jump. Stay in the forklift. Hold tight to the steering wheel, brace your feet, lean away from the site of impact, and lean forward to brace yourself against the steering controls. Understanding the concept of the center of gravity is key to safe operation. The center of gravity is the concentration of the total weight of an object at a single point. The combined center of gravity is the total weight of the load, the lift truck, and the operator concentrated at a single point, as shown in the photo on your screen. Load center. Load center is the distance from the vertical face of the forks to the load's center of gravity. As you can see here, the load center of a 48-inch load is 24 inches. The load center of an 80-inch load is 40 inches. Taking what we know about center of gravity and load centers, let's look at how they affect stability through the triangle of stability. When the vehicle is loaded, the center of gravity, CG, shifts forward toward line BC, circled in red. This can affect the steering of the vehicle as the weight and center of gravity has shifted forward. If you look at the graphics on your screen, this can help us understand the triangle of stability and center of gravity. The first photo shows the forklift's center of gravity when it is unloaded. The second photo shows the combined center of gravity, and the third photo shows a load center beyond 24 inches and how the center of gravity shifts even further forward. This is especially important in forklifts where the rear wheels control steering. As the center of gravity shifts forward, the friction between the wheels and the ground may become less and result in less impactful steering. Let's take a look at the combined actions of the center of gravity. In the first photo, the center of gravity shows that it moves side to side. If a load has more weight distributed on the right rather than the left side, the center of gravity will shift to the side with the most weight. Likewise, the center of gravity moves forward when a heavier load is positioned so that the heaviest part is on the tip of the forks. The center of gravity moves backward toward the thin portion of the triangle when the load is faced behind it. Pedestrian safety in the workplace is critical. Forklift operators should always be aware of the conditions of their workplace, including pedestrian traffic. Operators shall always yield to the right-of-way to pedestrians. When a person or group of people walks across your planned route, you should follow the below steps. Come to a complete stop. Allow the pedestrians to pass by. Proceed cautiously through any congested areas. Sound the horn or use other alarms when you back up or make turns in blind areas. Passengers are not permitted to be allowed on forklifts at any time unless the forklift is specifically designed to accommodate passengers. Only as many passengers as there are seatbelts on the lift. At no time should we transport passengers on our forklifts. The below guidance should be followed anytime we are changing the LP tank or adding diesel fuel to a forklift. The engine must be turned off during any fueling operations. Any spillage of oil or fuel must be cleaned up immediately. No truck shall be operated with a leak in its fuel system. No open flames or smoking are permitted during fueling operations. The use of cell phones or other handheld devices, headphones, earphones, headsets, speakers, and all other handheld or electrical devices is strictly prohibited while operating forklifts. Just like in cars, seat belts are required to be used at all times while the vehicle is in motion or in operation. Let's review a few key operator safety reminders. Slow down, stop, and sound your horn at intersections, corners, or wherever your vision is obstructed. Use a spotter for blind spots. Always look in the direction of travel. Keep a clear view. Start, stop, travel, steer, and brake smoothly. Do not allow anyone to stand or pass under your load or lifting mechanism. When possible, make eye contact with pedestrians or other forklift operators to verify they notice your presence. This completes the formal instruction portion of forklift training. You will now take a quiz with questions relating to the information which was just covered. Once you have completed your quiz, a hands-on instruction session with operator skill evaluation must be completed for each type of forklift before your certification is considered active. Please contact the Ryan Fire Protection Safety Director at the contact information listed on your screen should you have any questions or further coordination is needed. Thank you and be safe.